Well, Krista, you and I go way back
Yes.
to the days when I was a programmer analyst. I think you might have been managing me. I'm not sure, but we were on some CRM projects
Right.
back in the day. I won't name the year, but it was a long time ago, and it was when I lived in Dallas. So I guess people could try to figure out what year it was that I lived in Dallas. But I wanted to get your thoughts on CRM, and you've been working on CRM and Salesforce now. It's the kind of the leading CRM for quite a while. And I'd love to just hear what are some of the recent initiatives on Salesforce that you've been looking after, and just, share your thoughts.
Yeah. So, I think for the longest time I was really functionally focused around like opportunity management or CPQ or, trying to learn all the ins and outs of Salesforce, which you'll never know everything. It's just too big. But, as of, I would say, the last 3 years, I've been more focused on migration projects. So divesting a company for the old company that I worked for and getting the org to a spot where they could run it themselves, removing the data from the org, so we didn't have any of our data, where they had access to it, and then handing it off for them to run, as well as setting up a brand new org from scratch and, migrating all of the business data in and configuring the entire application over again, from coming from like a 12-year-old org to fresh. There's a lot of work involved, right? So it's been, I think, like a different focus that I've taken just, with the work that I've been doing. And now at Google Cloud, we are merging in the business because they acquired us, and that's how I came to work for them. So we are merging in our business into their existing Salesforce org. So it's the same kind of flavor of what I've been doing, and it seems like that's really been my focus, which is different because I'm used to in the past just really focusing on functional areas, but it's been good just to learn different ways to optimize things and do different things that you need to get done.
Kind of bring it all together.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. What are some of the learnings on these projects, either from maybe a technical perspective, but maybe more so operationally, that you've had kind of as your role has changed, looking over, not just an initiative like that, but even the ongoing operations of it?
Yeah, so, applications are only as good as their data, right? Data is a critical piece of all of that. So, I think that one of the things that I would say I've gotten pretty good at is optimizing deployments of massive data projects. Gone are the days where you could say, let's take the system down for 2 weeks and let's migrate to this new system. That's not going to fly.
No.
Even a week, right? My business stakeholders gave me 2 days. 2 days and a weekend. So I had 4 total days to migrate massive amounts of data over so many years, dating back to like 2016, right? So it was quite the feat. But you get creative with how you schedule things and just really optimizing the deployment of what you can do to please the business, not have the systems offline for too long, and do a quality job within the time frame that you committed to. It takes several iterations of testing and timings and then wiping out an org and then testing it again, right? So that whole process I feel like I've been able to get very skilled at, which is not something I ever thought I would be skilled at, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
For Salesforce.
Yeah, for sure. It's not just like, okay, click the button for change sets and we're done. Yeah,
Exactly.
Migrations are a lot, and they're hard to time. Yeah, okay. When you think about an org merge, are there, and you talked about it a little bit, but are there any specific tips? Because it's like, hey, this org was built this way for these particular business processes. This other org came in here with a different company, and now these two need to come together. What tips do you have for somebody that might be undertaking an org merge?
So coming into Google Cloud, they're very particular about not just adding fields to be adding fields. And everywhere I've worked before on a Salesforce org, we've tried to have some level of governance around what we customized. But it always ends up being that you customize everything for individual business units, and then you have a mess on your hands afterwards, right? So I think it's good if you can adopt a strategy where you're building scalable processes and systems and not just tailoring to a specific business unit. Now, sometimes you may have to, right? It just may be so specialized that you don't have a choice. But I think often we take maybe an easy way out and just do the work and give the business what they want, and then your maintenance costs are higher, and they can't get all the changes that they want in in sprints, because it's they've got all these different business units that they're having to make changes for. So you have to kind of do some rotation, prioritization. That always becomes a challenge. So I think if you can have a strategy where you're not just adding all these fields, but you are building it to serve specific processes, and the businesses adopt the processes, that it's going to be better in the long run.
That's really good
for both sides.
Yeah, because it can be a lot. So that's really, really good advice. It's so much to juggle. Everyone's competing requests, and then all of a sudden you've got a mess on your hands.
And it's not easy. And, our business stakeholders at first were like, what? We're not used to this, right? But change is hard. Change is so hard. But you have to try to change, at least. Give it a shot. And I think everyone's adapting pretty well now.
Very cool. Well, thank you, Krista, for being here, especially in Hawaii.
Yes.
You are truly an inspiration to me personally.
Thank you.
You're an amazing woman in business and a very beautiful, competitive bodybuilder. So,
thank you.
Yeah,
I could say the same about you.
Oh,
Maybe not the bodybuilding thing.
Yeah, I was
Look
gonna
at
say.
you. I mean, Dina's got her own office here. I'm
Aw.
super, super impressed with what you've been able to do. Always inspiring me as well. So
Thanks, Krista.
Yeah, you're welcome.
All right. Thank you.
Okay.